All right, a little bit of an update. This is going to be the last 2 days till we move out of this place. So I'm glad I made some videos here. I'm glad I made some content here because before I came here, I said I wanted to do something like this. Well, initially it wasn't really the plan, but how can you not? But I mean, as you see from the title of this video, this is going to be my experience of 1 year since I've last smoked weed. In my experience through that journey, the trials and tribulations through that journey, like all of it, man, all of it. So to give you a little bit of a backstory, I started smoking weed in 2016, and the only reason why I even started was purely because of social pressure. I lived with roommates who everyone smoked weed, you know. And for the first couple months, I didn't smoke weed at all. I was at college. All my roommates did it. There wasn't really much to do on campus at the university since it was such a small school. So there's a lot of like different factors that just kind of like eventually like just pushed me to do it in a sense. And at the end of the day, it was my choice, you know. But at the time, I didn't have the self control to not do it, because it came to a point where I was like, why not, man? Why not? So I did it. And then from like 2016 all throughout college, it was like a slow, gradual thing where, you start off with a little bit of edibles, you try that. You're like, okay, I'll probably do this like once in a blue moon, and then you start doing it more times. You start doing it like once a week. And you start doing it every other day. Then you start doing it every day. And this becomes a habit, you know? And it's very interesting because like I only did it with my friends that I was living with. I remember when I went back home during summer break after my freshman year, and I didn't do it at all. Didn't do it at all. And there's like a study that was done. I remember when I read it in a book. I think it was Atomic Habits, actually, where the soldiers that went to war, whenever they were in like whenever they were deployed, they got like really addicted to, I think it was like cocaine or some type of drug. But when they got back home, they weren't addicted to it anymore because they didn't have it around them. It was the same idea where like I was only did it because of the social, quote unquote, social pressure to do it around me, and also the availability of it as well. So yeah, I mean, I pretty much did it all the way throughout college, for the most part. And, at times it did impact my grades, but at times it really didn't. So honestly, I remember a lot of times when, like, man, it felt good, man. It felt really good because it was fun. I felt like I was a different person, which honestly I was. Um, I almost kind of relied on it to make me feel happy in a sense because when I was on it, I felt really happy. And man, it was a journey, man. It was a journey. And even after college, I still did it. I was still doing it on my own. I would go, I would, I'd work from home, and then at night I would just go and do it, man. It was almost like a stress relief from work. You know what I mean? You go do it. You watch YouTube videos. You feel great. Like all that, man, all that. But it wasn't until like around this time last year in January when anytime I would do it, I would start to get anxiety, bro. Like it was crazy because I was doing it I did it from 2016 all the way up until like 2023, 2024. Now, in 2023, 2024, I wasn't doing it as much. It would be like a one-off moments I would do it. But I remember in 2024 last year, I remember doing it, and man, I just felt so much anxiety, bro. So much anxiety when I did it. It was honestly like it was a terrible experience. And it's interesting because after that, I was like, all right, man, I don't think I can do this anymore, you know? So I gave everything away. That was the number one thing that helped me the most is basically just having no like availability to it at all, making it as hard as possible to even do it in the first place, you know? So that was number one. I gave everything away. And honestly, I just focused on work. At the time I was trying to build my own agency. You can see from my past videos of me trying to go through that process. So at the time, I was doing that most of last year, so I wasn't really thinking about it. I wasn't really thinking about smoking or anything like that. So I was just kind of locked in a sense. So that really helped me a lot because I didn't have any availability to it. I wasn't hanging out with anybody who was doing it. Now, what's really interesting, and this is where I feel like I grew the most, because there was times when I would hang out with friends and they had it, right? Whether it was a pen, whether it was mostly it was a pen, bro. The pens, bro. Oh my gosh. I remember my friend had a pen. There was a few times I was hanging out with a friend and they had like a pen, and they would like pass it over to me like, "Hey, you want to hit this?" And I remember just saying, "No, no, I don't do that, bro. I don't do that." And I think that is the most powerful thing is when like literally just saying, "No, I don't do that." It's not saying like, "Oh no, I'm trying to quit. I'm trying to get off of it." No, no, no. I don't do that. That is the most powerful thing because now it trains your mind to disassociate yourself from that type of person. That type of person that used to smoke weed. No, no, no. I don't do that anymore. And that's another thing I learned in the book Atomic Habits is like creating that identity of somebody who doesn't even do this at all. That was the biggest thing, and that helped me a lot in situations where there was a good handful of situations where I had a friend that would pass me the pen, and I just say I don't do that anymore. And in the moment, like it feels uncomfortable, but man, is it so powerful. And oftentimes there was a time when like you start to see like the real side of people. You also start to see like kind of like who your real friends are in a sense. Like you start to kind of see behind the curtains. You know what I mean? The biggest thing to be aware of is when you do that, when you say no, I don't do that, is to watch the reactions of those friends that you have at the time, you know, and see what their reactions are, because that can tell you a lot. That can tell you a lot. That told me a lot with some of the friends that I had at the time. So, man, that was probably the most powerful thing. It's just saying no. Like I used to struggle so much with saying no to things, bro. Like so much. That's the reason why I even started in the first place, because I couldn't say no. You know, so um, yeah. I mean, it got to a point where it just wasn't a part of my life. I didn't have any friends around me that really did it. Even if they did, I would just say no. I'd be in environments where people are smoking weed. I remember specifically I was in an environment where literally everyone was smoking weed. I didn't hit it once, bro. And it's the thing is like you got to be careful in those situations because it can be very easy to just take it, hit it, you know. And there was a time when I was in that position. This is probably like I want to say like 8 months since I have done it. I remember in that moment I was like, bro, I can't do this. Like like I was around it and I'm like, man, like the self control it's hard because like it's right in front of me. I can do it. But what helped me a lot was just knowing the feeling that I had the last time I did it, how much anxiety I had, and knowing also I had to drive home that night too. So I was like, I'm not trying to put myself in this state because it's not going to be good, bro. It's not going to be good. So yeah, man, that's kind of the story of my year of not smoking weed. I mean, even where I am today, I mean, like I live in Colombia, bro. Like there's drugs everywhere, there's a lot of availability to it, but I'm just not that type of person anymore. I'm just not that person anymore. I've let go of that identity of myself, of that person who used to do that stuff. That's not me. I don't do that anymore. And I think that is the most powerful thing to be able to do is to completely disassociate yourself from that identity. So yeah, man. I hope this helps somebody out there. Trust me, man. I know it's hard. It's tough. Especially when you had a lot of friends that do it. Especially when you're around it all the time. Especially when you have the availability to it. It is so hard. But trust me, once you start to eliminate all of the paraphernalia, once you start to stop hanging out with those type of people that are doing it, once you start to give yourself the identity of I'm not that person. I don't do that anymore, man, you regain so much control. Now, here's a disclaimer, bro. This stuff affects everybody differently. That is the number one thing I probably should say. Just, man, it affects everyone differently. I know people who can function very well off of it, but I'm not that. I'm not that person, bro. I am not that guy. I cannot function good off that at all, and I'm glad I can, because I don't want to ever have to rely on that to be able to function. But yeah, man, honestly, I'm so much happier than I've ever been. You know, I have so much like innate joy in myself and peace within myself, knowing that I have control over like my mind and I don't have to worry about a substance to make me happy. There's a lot of power in that, man. And um, it was a long journey. I mean, dude, I was doing it for 8 years, bro. 8 years, you know. I mean, the last 2022, 2024, it was on and off, but still, I mean, it was a long road, bro. A long, long road. I never thought I'd be able to do it for this long, but man, I'm so glad because I'm just not. I lost that identity, that previous identity is gone. You know, I'm glad I was able to transform myself into a new me and have a new identity. So, yeah, man, if you're watching this and you're going through that, like I hope this helps you on your journey. Just know that I'm watching you from afar and I'm rooting for you.